So, a lot happened in the Zerg campaign throughout these 10 missions. We meet Raynor pretty early. Well, actually, the Zerg start off on Tarsonis, pushing the Terrans off of their homeworld, finishing that off. And then the Overmind assimilates Kerrigan, a ghost with very powerful psionic abilities, somebody who the Overmind deemed as a key and essential part of progressing the Swarm's ultimate goal, which is to assimilate the Protoss, to achieve perfection of form and of essence. That's the Zerg's goal. That's the Overmind's goal. He wants to create the perfect race, the perfect species, this perfect creature. That's always been the Zerg's constant, unending goal that they strive for, to reach perfection. And when they assimilate the Protoss, the Overmind believes perfection will be achieved. So Kerrigan meets Raynor after she's become the Queen of Blades, and she lets him live despite the Overmind's wishes to kill all Terrans from the planet. Kerrigan says, nah, get out of here, Jim. I'm gonna go easy on you. We know each other. We had a life in the past, and out of respect for that, I'm going to spare you. And Raynor's like, well, I guess I really got no choice but to leave, don't I, darling? And out he goes. And then Kerrigan meets Tassadar, who comes along and makes a bitch out of her, honestly. He plays her like a fiddle. And she doesn't like that very much. While Tassadar is dinking around with Kerrigan, having fun. It's key to note, by the way, that Tassadar came down to do the work himself. Yeah, he sent an illusion to fight Kerrigan, but that was just puppet master pulling the strings kind of thing, you know? He's just playing with her. Because it's a strategic move. But it's key to note that Tassadar came down. Instead of staying in orbit and just burning the whole planet, killing all Zerg and all Terrans, Tassadar said, nah, the Terrans don't need to die for this. The Zerg are the ones that we need to get rid of, but the Terrans don't need to be collateral damage. So Tassadar comes down to do a more surgical removal of the Zerg, using his forces rather than his planetary annihilation beams. So, big salute to Tassadar for that. But while Tassadar is dinking around with Kerrigan, Zeratul goes and kills a Cerebrate, and then he goes and tries to kill the Overmind, but fails. The Overmind is able to be resurrected. When Zeratul strikes at the Overmind, their minds connect, and the Overmind learns the one secret that has been kept from the Zerg for their entirety of existence: the location of the Protoss homeworld of Ire, where the Overmind can finally go and assimilate the Protoss and achieve perfection of essence and of form. And this is where we begin, with the Overmind at the very start of the very end of the Protoss. Protoss Campaign, The Fall. The Zerg Overmind has succeeded in invading the Protoss homeworld of Ire, and has embedded itself into the crust of the planet. This is a really cool looking scene. I just want to look at this for a second. We've got the Protoss structures in the foreground, but then we've got the planet of Ire in between the structures, and the Overmind. That's the colossal formation you see in the background there. That's what the Overmind looks like from the outside. I don't have a cursor right now, but that's what the Overmind looks like from the outside. Now, as the agents of the sinister Overmind spread chaos and destruction across the face of Ire, the stalwart Protoss defenders prepare themselves for the coming onslaught. First strike, Citadel of the new Protoss Executor, that's us, 2 days after the Zerg invasion.
Entaro Adun, Executor. I am Judicator Aldaris. I have been sent by the Conclave to serve and counsel you. The former Executor, Tassadar, was commanded to halt the Zerg progress in the Terran sector by burning the infested human worlds. Unfortunately, he disregarded his orders and attempted to destroy the Zerg while sparing the Terrans from the flame. Clearly, Tassadar has failed us. You must not. The Conclave has dictated that our first priority is to strengthen our defenses. You must reinforce our outpost in Antioch and make certain that the province does not fall to the Zerg. Your old comrade, Praetor Phoenix will meet you there and assist you in this endeavor.
All right, very interesting note about being Executor here. Well, just like in the Terran campaign, we were a new commander, and just like in the Zerg campaign, we were a new Cerebrate. Here in the Protoss campaign, we are a new Executor, tasked with a very important mission. But this time, as Executor, we actually have a bit of a history. As a Cerebrate, we didn't. We were just freaking born when we were assigned, like, the greatest duty that all Zerg has ever received, which is to protect that chrysalis and make sure that the Queen of Blades comes to pass. Fully evolves, or whatever you want to call it. It's a very important job, but we were newborn. We were a newborn Cerebrate when we got that job. And we were a nameless and historyless commander when we joined the Terran Confederacy, which is now the Terran Dominion. But here, as Executor, we have an old friend, Phoenix. So we actually have some history as our character here. It's just an interesting little note I wanted to make. Anyway, we're on the Protoss homeworld of Ire. And it's not like there's and the Zerg are taking over, and it's not like there's gonna be a fourth race coming along to burn the Zerg off of Ire, right? The Protoss have to deal with this. The Protoss are the ones that go around burning worlds when the Zerg infest those worlds. Well, there's no Protoss coming to save the Protoss except the Protoss themselves, right? So our first job is to build up our defenses, and hopefully Phoenix can help out. Starcraft tips. All Protoss buildings except the Nexus must be built within the energy field of a pylon. Look, there's our base. Look, we already have a lot of vision. That's pretty cool. The Protoss Zealot. We're going to start off the Protoss campaign doing the one thing everybody should do when they first start the Protoss campaign, and that's click a Zealot a million times.
I long for combat. Isar too. What man calls. Entaru Adun. All for the Empire. Doom to all who threaten the homeworld. Isar too.
Zealots are so freaking extra. This is a Dragoon. Notice the Dragoon's portrait. He's in like a suspension. He's like in some sort of a liquid, like a, not I don't want to say a gel, but some sort of a suspension. Fun fact, Protoss Zealots are, well, they're rather zealous in their defense and their patriotism. And their defense of the Protoss and their patriotism as Protoss themselves. They're rather zealous. Zealots charge into battle. They want to fight. They want to give their 1000% in battle. Zealots are as die-hard Protoss as it gets. You want proof? When they die... Holy shit! We're being attacked in the first fucking mission as we stand here? What the heck? Anyway. When a Zealot dies, if his body is recoverable, and there's enough life left in him, so I guess not when he dies, but Zealots that fall in battle, their broken bodies are then mended as best as they can be and moved into the shell of a Dragoon. This is a robotic body, and there is a former Zealot who fell in battle in here. A Zealot who barely survived, and this dude gets put into a Dragoon to continue fighting. That's what Dragoons are. Isn't that freaking hardcore? These guys are so fucking hardcore. Let's double click on, let's click on the Dragoon a lot now that you know what they are.
Make use of me. Awaiting instructions. Transmitted. Zakaladas. Unauthorized transmission. Incorrect protocol. Drop your weapon. You have 15 seconds to comply. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Receiving.
Anyway.
I long for combat.
Dragoons and Terran Goliaths have the worst pathing in the game. Getting these motherfuckers up and down ramps is going to be the biggest challenge any StarCraft player will face. 2 is fine, but just wait. I won't be surprised if these guys disappoint me greatly. Either by proving me wrong and getting up ramps flawlessly, or by doing what they normally do and never getting up a ramp. Zealots are incredibly powerful melee units. 168. Oh. 160 total HP. 60 of that is shields, which regenerate after they take damage. That's what the 2 different bars are right here. All Protoss units have shields. So Terran units, they can't heal themselves unless they're mechanical units, which can be repaired. Protoss units cannot be repaired like Terran units can, nor does their HP heal the way a Zerg's HP heals. But they do have a constantly regenerating shield. So they're kind of a mix, honestly, as far as gameplay is concerned. Gotcha. Okay, let's get the Dragoons right under you. No, stop. Stutter step. Why aren't you going after him? I had you selected. Why aren't you firing? You see what I mean? That's what we're talking about. Dragoons have the dumbest pathing in the freaking game. Honor guide me. Let's pull back the low shield zealots and keep the high shield zealots in play. Get the Dragoons moving out here. No, let's just get to the base first. Let's go meet Phoenix like our orders dictate we should do. Gee, a house! Honor guide me. Bloss I serve. Fucking Dragoons! That's not the way you were told to go. It's the exact opposite direction you were told to go. But you fucking committed, didn't you? Okay, well, at least we found a long way around. Zealots just doing your jobs for you, Dragoons. Oh god, Zealots, come help!
It is good to see you once more upon the field of battle.
God damn it. We met Phoenix.
All of our probes were lost in the last Zerg attack, and we had no resources with which to replace them. Receiving.
God damn it, the camera won't do what I wanted to do because we're going through this cutscene. Ah, but we have Phoenix now. There we go, we finally got this all sorted. We have Phoenix now. A hero zealot, 240, 240. 40 damage melee attack compared to the 16 damage melee attack of normal zealots. This dude is an absolute beast. Put him in the group 1 too. Alright, so we're out of probes here, Phoenix just told us. The Zerg have been accosting this place, it's barely hanging on, and I can definitely see that being the case because they've been attacking us since we got here. But now it's time to start training some probes. These are the workers of the Protoss race.
Your command? Awaiting instructions.
We brought minerals to this base that had none. We brought some along with us so we can get the base functioning again. Protoss struck.
Intended to construct photon cannons here for defense, but without probes we could not do so.
Note, Protoss buildings can only be placed within the blue area of influence of a pylon. Yeah, so don't you drop stuff off here. Are you trying to do a drop? Go get him, Phoenix. Phoenix and pals. We'll keep Phoenix up front. Alright, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so Terran structures can be built anywhere, and they can even be lifted off to be placed elsewhere later. Terran bases are very versatile that way. Zerg bases are necessarily compact and centralized because they have the limitation of creep that they need to build upon. Protoss bases are somewhat similar to both. You can build a Protoss structure anywhere, but we do have these pylons. You see, as we build, pylons have a power circle that they can build in. And buildings that do not have a nearby pylon are unpowered. This gateway does not work. The Nexus does because it doesn't actually require a power source. But this gateway is unpowered and will not work until it has a pylon nearby to power it. Protoss structures are not constructed by the worker unit itself. Instead, a beacon is laid down. After it has started the building's warp rift, a probe can be given new commands. You see that? So a probe can start the warp in of a building and then get right back to work, unlike the other races. You sacrifice no worker, and you sacrifice no worker time. This pylon completes its warp in because Protoss buildings aren't actually constructed here. They're constructed elsewhere, and then they are warped in. So this is a complete pylon that has been waiting to be moved to its functional production location, which is here. So that's what actually it is. You're not building things as Protoss, you are warping them from somewhere else, a main Protoss repository of stuff like this. It's pretty interesting. Now that the gateway has power, we can begin warping in zealots. Protoss use assimilators over their geysers rather than the Zerg extractor or the Terran refinery, but it does the exact same thing. There's no new gameplay there. Here is a Protoss forge. This is like an evolution chamber or engineering bay. It contains upgrades for our Protoss friends. We definitely want to get some gas coming in, but yeah, let's get some probes on gas and start ground weapons. Use the 100 gas that we brought with us for that. Get that started. But let's certainly keep producing probes. Now, pylons also serve as the Protoss's supply structure, like a supply depot or an overlord. You require pylons to increase your psi. Protoss call it psi because it's all about the whole mine thing. So yeah, these produce, I don't know. I know the logic behind supply depots, like you need supply depots with supplies in them to support an army. And I know the logic behind overlords. They basically serve as psionic routers for the Overmind and the whole Zerg psionic network. But I don't know why the Protoss can't bring more people to a base without there being more pylons. I don't know the logic behind that one. But like I said, you can't think too much about the stuff in Starcraft. It all falls apart if you think too hard about it. So just roll with it. Just go with the flow, man. Now, if I want Dragoons, and I do, we're going to need a cybernetics core. So let's build one of those. We'll put it back here with the forge. Now, first we'll start that. That will finish. Now, the construction of a forge, having a forge, also means that you can build these nifty photon cannons. Photon cannons are incredibly good defensive buildings. They're expensive. They cost 150 minerals each. For reference, that's as much as a Terran barracks costs. They are very expensive units, but they have none of the drawbacks that other defensive structures in the game that we've had access to have. These are both air and ground targeting units, and their detectors. They're everything. They're sunken colonies, they're missile turrets, they're detectors, they're everything. They're all at once. Of course, again, they are expensive. To turtle as a Protoss is an expensive proposition. Develop Singularity Charge, increase Dragoon attack range. The Cybernetics Core enables me to train Dragoons, and of course, the building that does that has Dragoon upgrades. So let's get Dragoon attack range here. We probably want a fourth... I was going to say drone. Probably want a fourth probe on gas here. Incoming! Gotta get our probes to safety. Probes are the backbone of everything we do. Let's get the Dragoons moving, finally, and attacking. There we go. Meanwhile, on the front line, we've got Phoenix and friends taking out waves of Zerg as they come in. Thankfully, Phoenix is there. The Dragoons have pushed back the Mutalisks. And we can begin producing more units. Now, notice that the Zealot costs 100 minerals. Terran Marines cost 50, and only one supply, the Marine. Zerglings also only cost 50, but you get 2, so Zerglings are 25 minerals, and 2 Zerglings takes up only 1 supply. Zealots, they take twice the minerals of the other Tier 1 units, and twice the supply. So you would imagine they're at least twice as strong as the other Tier 1 units. And if that's what you think, you're right. The Zealot and Dragoon are a deadly combo together. Dragoons launching support fire over the shoulders of Zealots with their upgrades is a very difficult force to beat. So as you can see, the Protoss motif, the Protoss modus operandi, is power and efficiency. In fact, they're probably, and do I really want to say this? The easiest race to play? I hate to be the guy that says that shit, you know, because that's kind of a meme. Everybody thinks that the other races they don't play are easier than the one they play, of course. It's one of those things, right? But it's kind of a meme about the Protoss death ball. All you gotta do with Protoss is make a crap load of units and then A-move them toward the enemy. That's the meme. Obviously, there's more to it than that. Protoss do require a lot of skill themselves. But with the simplified base building compared to Zerg, where you don't need creep colonies, you don't need any of that stuff, you don't need 2 different types of defensive buildings, you don't need to manage your economy, your drones, you don't need to worry about spending drones on buildings, and without the flexibility of Terran buildings, be it being able to move them around and stuff like that, without the 2 different base building mechanics, the Protoss have a much simpler style. You put the buildings down and the buildings do stuff. That's it. You put buildings down and you make units. It's a very simple approach. The difficulty in Protoss is managing your economy and, in general, fewer units, because your units take up loads of supply because they're very powerful. So you're dealing with smaller units of high power, smaller numbers of high power units, as opposed to the other 2 races that you're playing. So it's a different kind of skill set that's necessary. But overall, I feel their gameplay is generally simpler. You build buildings and you do stuff with them. Don't gotta worry about it beyond that. No moving the buildings around, no placing them in strategic locations for creep, although there is definitely strategic building placement for Protoss too. Like I said, there's more to it than how I'm describing it, but yeah, now we see what we're getting at here. Let's put another pylon here as well. Let's get some photon cannons on the front for defense. Yeah, we can probably put one right here. Yeah, we're good. Now, notice I'm still using waypoints. I set him to go drop the beacon, and he'll automatically return to minerals when I do that. Okay. Now, I've spent a lot of time talking to explain a lot about the Protoss in this first mission, because this is going to be the slowest of all Protoss missions. It's probably best I get a lot of this explanation out the way. Maybe somebody who's been interested in how the Protoss work is learning a lot here, so that's the kind of thing we hope to see. You know what? Maybe we can get a photon cannon up here. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want a photon cannon up here. We want to put a pylon maybe back here. Another photon to defend here. Okay, this probe can't get out. Got to drone drill him. Drone drilling. You want to know what drone drilling is? So I'll show you what drone drilling is, because I may use that term again in the future. You see this probe? It's called drone drilling because you mostly do it with drones, with the Zerg's higher number of drones, but you can do it with SCVs and probes. So the probe trying to get through this wall of units, zealots and dragoons right here, can't do it. Can't do it. Body blocked, as most units would be. All units are going to be body blocked by a wall like this. You just can't get through it unless you can walk all the way around, you know, just like that. But if you drone drill, to drone drill, you just right click. Oh shit! Ah! Well, we lost our probe. That's okay. It's a robot. We build more. Let's get this one out here so I can finish illustrating the point. If you want to get a probe somewhere fast, maybe like into an enemy base, like past units on their ramp or something like that, because you can do this through enemy units, you just right click them on a resource. Right clicking on this mineral patch lets the probe or drone or worker, any worker, SCV, just move right through the units. That's all you got to do. That's what it's called. So when your worker gets stuck among all these workers, like you want to break one out of the group, just have him like move to a different patch. He'll definitely get there. You'll get the probe that you want. Drone drilling 101. Kind of really want a pylon back here. I know it's gonna be hard to find a good spot for it. There we go. I don't think we need more probes. Let's get some more zealots. We still have upgrades going. I'm gonna want plenty of defense up here. Now, can we put a pylon up here? It doesn't look like we can. Nope, we cannot.
My life for ire.
Okay, then we'll definitely put another cannon here. Excellent.
Upgrade complete.
It's kind of hard for our probes to get around now with all that defense, but we're good. There's another upgrade. We'll get 111. Upgrade to our shields as well. We got melee attack damage, range attack damage. Shields level 1 is on the way. We've upgraded Dragoon range. Alright, let's go see what we can do. We are definitely bringing Raynor. We're definitely bringing Phoenix with us. Now, what's our objectives? Meet Phoenix at Antioch, destroy the Zerg base, and Phoenix must survive. Okay. Let's do something cool and get another gateway. You know what? Maybe 3 gateways. And if we're doing that, we're gonna need plenty of supply. There we go. 2 gateways on the way, and 1, 2, 3 pylons will ensure we have the supply that we need. Get another zealot, rally him up to the front. I'm probably gonna want to keep some dragoons behind for defense. I can't really make a push yet. Let's go send a scout out. Where's that Zerg base? Show me how to get there as the Zergling runs. Well, there's a ramp up here. Ooh. Here comes the unburrow. I can feel it. Oh, okay. There is a sunken colony. Very good at holding off ground units, even those as powerful as a zealot. Do I have access to a Citadel of Adun yet? No, I don't. Right? That's an advanced structure. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go boom, 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 Dragoon, Dragoon, Dragoon to protect from Mutalisk attacks. Now with 3 Dragoons already on the way, being warped in here and rallied to the mineral line and all these cannons, we can certainly walk out. Alright, let's see if we can get everybody up this ramp. Gotta really babysit these Dragoons. Loktai. We're also gonna go Control 4, Control 5, Control 6. That way I can do stuff like this. 4 Dragoon, 5 Dragoon, 6 Dragoon. There, up the ramp. Oh, look at those Dragoons! Oh, they almost did it! They almost did it. These Zealots almost did it, too. Get him!
Upgrade complete.
What would you ask of me?
Okay, that's all the upgrades we can get in this early mission. Oh, fall back. Freaking Dragoon. There goes Phoenix. Phoenix rushing in. Tanking damage. Tanking damage like a true G. Making it easy for our forces. Watching Phoenix. I did purposely send him up front to tank all that initial damage because he's got so much shields. It's definitely worth it. Look how fast he moves. Tearing up Hydralisks. Now those are air units and Phoenix is vulnerable. Let's pull him back. Let's reposition. Let's take out the air units and let's bring Phoenix back in to do more work. How you doing, Phoenix? You holding up? All right. I'm holding up immediately. Let's go, Phoenix, from behind. Boom! See that? You see that stealth attack? Brilliant. There's an egg. Kill the egg. It's Zerglings. It's not Zerglings. Excellent. Now, you may have noticed while this fight was going on, I was accessing my gateways without having to look away from the fight, and that has rallied a few more reinforcements to our cause. And yet more are on the way. Here they come. And yet more! Alright, this ought to do it, right? This is the one Zerg base they had here.
I am no executor. Although we two have marched across hundreds of worlds together, I never imagined that we would be fighting on Aya. The Zerg are indeed worthy foes.
Alright. That would have been a very short mission if it wasn't for all the explanation being done. So I'm glad I got all that out of the way in this episode.